Parliament is back and the year's first big political argy-bargy is all about the cost of lunch, specifically whether or not small businesses should get tax breaks to entertain clients.
As Pollies prayed for all their election hopes and dreams to come true.
All of you, be like-minded, be sympathetic, love one another.
Literally no one was taking Albo's advice.
This Treasurer, who is out of his depth, he's out of ideas.
I heard Angus Taylor was losing it. I heard he was unhinged.
Including himself.
This is the worst, sloppiest policy put forward by any opposition that I've seen in my entire time since I've been in Parliament, and that was a while ago.
A row of biblical proportions brewing over
Peter Dutton's big lunch.
a coalition plan to give small businesses up to 20 grand of tax deductions for lunches and entertainment.
We are offering a modest tax cut to Australian small businesses at a time where they're seeing record levels of insolvencies.
All that Peter Dutton could find was an absolute stinker of a policy, like a lunchbox that had been left in the bottom of a bag since term 4.
There's a lot of small businesses out there that are doing it really tough. This should be on the agenda. Let's talk about it.
We support this measure from a small business perspective.
Labor today releasing Treasury's estimated costs, $1.6 billion a year at minimum. A whopping $10 billion if each of the 2.6 million eligible businesses cash in.
Peter Dutton wants Australian workers and taxpayers to foot the bill for their boss's long lunch, and the bill will run to billions.
The opposition says it won't cost anywhere near that.
Worked with Treasury to come up with figures that we think and know are absolute nonsense. That'll be under $250 million.
But it's yet to release costings of its own.
We'll put out those costings in advance of the next election.
Aussies so far split on whether it's a vote winner.
I think it'd be good for the economy.
Honestly, I actually think that's kind of a good thing for small businesses.
Somebody could rort the system there.
How about a policy for vegan food in offices and locally sourced food?
Well, Samantha Maiden is here to give us her take on the cost of lunch. Sam, Albo teed off the worst, sloppiest policy he's seen in his time, which seems like a big call. You've been in the Canberra Press Gallery long enough for me to be sure you've seen a fair bit of slop in your time. How does this one rate?
That's so rude.
No, I
have seen a lot of slop in my time, and no, of course not. I have seen so much political slop in my time, and this doesn't even come close as I've seen sloppier. Look, I mean, I don't think this is a very fair shake of the sauce bottle. The bottom line is they did get it costed by what's meant to be the Independent Parliamentary Budget Office. They said it was $250 million. You know, they say potatoes, Treasury says potatoes, and they say it was somewhere between 1.6 billion and maybe even 10. So go figure. I mean, I think what's basically happening here is that Peter Dutton, if you had to put up Peter Dutton and Jim Chalmers next to each other, I think you'd put your party money on Chalmers before Dutton. And Peter's just trying to show that he can show us a good time.
Fair enough. What I don't quite get about all this, though, is of all the fights out there, and there are lots of them, nuclear energy, cost of living, all these things happening, why is the government picking this one?
Because it's fun and because they can basically make the whole political debate sound like they're accusing Peter Dutton of carrying on like, you know, one of those characters who's lurching around in a business suit with dim sims slopped all over him. But, you know, I think that we're just trying to have a little bit of fun here, and that's okay. And why not? Well, I mean, we should say there's no alcohol, there's no strippers and there's no golf. But
yes,
you can eat as many dim sims as you like.
So really not that much fun, Sam. What do you make of the fact that they made it clear that there were exemptions about using the lunches at the strips?
Well, I think it's fair enough, right? Because they had to. Because otherwise, like, Channel 7 wouldn't understand, right? Spotlight would go out and try and interview Bruce Lerman and things would go terribly haywire. He's not into that. He never asked for that. It was just that producer. You must have that sort of thing where you work.
Wow.
Yeah. You can't control the producers. They're out of control.
Someone is making a meal of this interview and it's you, Sam Maiden. I love it.
What do you think? What about lunch in a chauffeur-driven car funded by the taxpayers?
Well, I think you're referring to the unfortunate former Minister for Transport and Good Times,
Yeah.
Jo Halen.
Yes.
She paid for her own lunch. She just got a driver to drive her like 244 kilometres. And she also rang up her best mate in politics, Rose Jackson, and said, surprise, I'm going to almost kill your political career by taking you to a 40th birthday you didn't know about in a car that I ordered that I wasn't really meant to.
Wow.
We haven't even touched on the vegan policy yet.
Yeah.
Sam Maiden, thanks for chatting.
Thank you.